Alright, what's going on my fellow gamblers, and today we are here with the Topaz and Numby full build guide. Topaz and Numby are going to be rerunning during the first half of 2.2 alongside the new character Robin. And so just like my other build guides, I'm going to be going over her kit, her Eidolons, the best Lightcones, best Relics, and stats you use on the Relics. Topaz has also just seen a surge of actual want because a lot of people did skip her original banner. And with follow-ups becoming so prevalent now, with Aventurine, Dr. Ratio being already really good, Robin being better on the follow-up attack team, just all these stuff sort of tailoring towards follow-up attacks, Topaz is the follow-up enabler. Practically on any follow-up team you want to have Topaz. So in this video I'm going to be showing you how to optimally build her and make her crazy good. Before I get to the video, drop a like, drop a sub, hit the bell icon for more videos like this. I do plan on having a build guide for every 2.2 character. So Robin, I already have that you can check out. You're now watching Topaz. BOOTHILL will be coming out soon, and Fuchuan will also be coming out soon, so stay tuned for those. And yeah, let's get straight into the video. So Topaz is a fire character following the path of Hunt. Her basic attack deals fire damage equal to 100% of Topaz's attack to a single enemy. Her skill inflicts a single target enemy with a Proof of Depth status, increasing the damage it takes from follow-up attacks by 50%. Proof of Death only takes effect on the most recent target it is applied to. If there are no enemies inflicted with Proof of Death status on the field when an ally's turn starts or when an ally takes action, Topaz will inflict a random enemy with Proof of Death. Numby deals fire damage equal to 150% of Topaz's attack to this target. Using the skill to deal damage is considered as launching a follow-up attack. For her ultimate, Numby enters the Windfall Bonanza state, and its damage multiplier increases by 150% and crit damage increases by 25%. Also, when enemies with Proof of Death are hit by an ally's basic attack, skill, or ultimate, Numby's action is advanced forward by 50%. Numby exits the Windfall Bonanza state after using 2 attacks. For her talent, summons Numby at the start of battle. Numby has 80 speed by default. When taking action, Numby launches a follow-up attack on a single enemy target inflicted with Proof of Death, dealing fire damage equal to 150% of Topaz's attack. When enemies afflicted with Proof of Death receive an ally's follow-up attack, Numby's action is advanced forward by 50%. So yes, other characters that do a follow-up attack like Aventurine, Ratio, Jue, they can advance forward Numby's action. The action advance forward effect cannot be triggered during Numby's own turn. When Topaz is down, Numby disappears. Rest in peace, Numby. For a technique, summons Numby when Topaz enters the overworld. Numby will automatically search for basic treasures and trotters within a set radius. Using her technique will regenerate 60 energy for Topaz after Numby's first attack in the next battle. If Topaz is still in the team after using her technique and defeating overworld enemies, a small bonus amount of credits will be added to the extra earned credits. A maximum of 10,000 bonus credits can receive per calendar day. After using a technique and defeating enemies in Simulated Universe, additionally receive a small amount of cosmic fragments with a small chance to obtain 1 random curio. So yes, you do gain some bonuses outside of just actual battle. You can have a chance to get bonus credits, you can get stuff in Simulated Universe. It's pretty cool. Me personally, I'm super hyped for the fact that I'm going to be able to search for basic treasures now because I hate searching for those damn basic treasures. I'm so tired of it. I have so many that I just cannot be asked to do. So once I do finally get her on the rerun, it's going to be so fire. For bonus traces, the first one, after Numby uses an attack in the Windfall Bonanza state, Topaz additionally regenerates 10 energy. Second one, increases Topaz and Numby's damage dealt to enemy targets with fire weakness by 15%, so anyone that has fire weakness will take even more damage. And for a third one, when Topaz uses basic attack to deal damage, it will be considered a follow-up attack. Moving on to her Eidolons, starting off with their crazy good E1. If you are wanting to run a follow-up team, you probably want this E1, and that's how good it is. When enemies afflicted with Proof of Death receive follow-up attacks, they will enter the Debtor state. This can take effect only once within a single attack. The Debtor state increases the crit damage of follow-up attacks inflicted on the target enemies by 25% stacked up to 2 times. So yes, you can deal an additional 50% crit damage with this. When Proof of Death is removed, the Debtor state is also removed. So yeah, this E1 is actually just insane for follow-up teams. I'm gonna be going for it because it's actually just so good, making Dr. Ratio, Aventurine, everyone that does a follow-up attack just hit that much harder. The second Eidolon, after Numby takes action and launches an attack, Topaz regenerates 5 energy. Fourth Eidolon, after Numby's turn begins, Topaz's action is advanced forward by 20%. And for a sixth Eidolon, Numby's attack count during the Windfall Bonanza state increases by 1, and its fire res pen increases by 10% when it attacks. So moving on to Topaz's best Lightcones, her best one is obviously going to be her own. As she is a hunt character that is doing follow-up attacks, it is sort of weird. She is in this awkward state where she doesn't really have that many good Lightcones for her, sadly. But for her signature one, what it does is increases the wearer's crit rate by 18% and their follow-up attacks damage by 30%. After the wearer uses a follow-up attack, apply the tame state to the target, stacking up to 2 times. When allies hit enemy targets under the tame state, every tame stack increases the crit damage dealt by 12%. So yes, imagine having the E1 and this Lightcone. You're making that, if they're inflicted with both the depth turn states and the tame stack, it's actually crazy. You get 50% from the E1 if you have it both stacked, and with both of these, you have another 24%. So dealing an extra 74% crit damage is actually just wild. Not only are you making them take even more crit damage, increasing her own stats with the crit rate is really nice, and also increasing her own follow-up attacks damage by 30% is also really, really good. And since she does follow-up attacks so often, her skill, basic, all that stuff that can be considered a follow-up attack, it's really, really easy to stack with this Lightcone, and this is easily her number one. Another option you can use is Swordplay. Since it is a 4-star, I'm gonna have it at R5 for this. What it does is for each time the wearer hits the same target, damage dealt increases by 16%, stacking up to 5 times. This effect will be dispelled when the wearer changes targets. So this one can be sort of iffy. With this, you're going to want to sort of target the same enemy as it says, because if you switch targets, you lose the effect. And to get the most out of this, you want to keep attacking the same target. And so usually this Lightcone would be really good if you're fighting a boss enemy, so it's just you focus them down with Topaz and you can use your other units to sort of attack the other ones on the field. But if you can get around the issue that you need to attack the same target, this Lightcone becomes really good. Another Lightcone you can use for her is actually the free one you can get from the Herda shop, so I'm also going to display this at S5. What it does is increases the wearer's crit rate by 16%, so you're already getting 16% crit rate, which is really nice, and increases the crit rate against enemies with HP less than or equal to 50% by an extra 16%. So you can get up to 32% crit rate if they are below 50% HP, which is also really, really nice. When the wearer defeats an enemy, their attack is increased by 40% for 2 turns, so you do want to make sure you kill an enemy with Topaz if you have this Lightcone, because 40% attack increase is really good. And if you don't have that active, this Lightcone loses a lot of value. And now for her relics. For the first one I'm going to talk about, which will be her best damaging set, is going to be the Pioneer Diver of Dead Waters. The debuff set is going to be the best one because the 2-piece increases damage dealt to enemies with debuffs, and the 4-piece gives crit rate, gives increased crit damage to more people with 2 to 3 debuffs. And if you inflict a debuff on them, the aforementioned effects increase by 100%. So this becomes her best damaging set. And since she can inflict a debuff because what she inflicts with the skill is considered a debuff, you can indeed make use of this. But she can't inflict it all by herself unless you do have the E1 and her own Lightcone. But when you do pair this with other follow-up characters such as Ratio and Aventurine who can also inflict debuffs, or running a character like Silverwolf or Pela who can inflict debuffs, this becomes her best to use. But the more option that I'd recommend, just because it's better overall, just because it's more flexible as well because it just relies on her own stuff, is the 4-piece follow-up set. Because 2-piece increases follow-up damage by 20%, which is a lot. And using a follow-up attack, it will increase your attack by 6% for every time the follow-up attack deals damage. And that stacks up all the way to 8 times and lasts for 3 turns. And since her follow-up attack with Numby does a lot of hits, it's really, really easy to stack this up. And you don't need any help from other allies for this. And the difference between 4-piece on the follow-up set and the 4-piece between Pioneers with max debuffs is very, 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 very small. So if you do have a better follow-up set or you just want it to be easier and more consistent, I definitely recommend doing the follow-up set. Because me personally, I'm also going to be doing the follow-up set because it's just way easier to manage. Another thing you can do is taking the 2-piece of the debuff set or the follow-up set and combining it with the 2-piece of the fire set. Because she does deal fire damage, the 2-piece increasing fire damage by 10% is going to be helpful. So that's another thing you can do. And if you really, really don't have many options, you can also do 2-piece of Musketeers with the attack increase with 2-piece fire or 2-piece of anything else. But Musketeers is on the lowest of the priority for that. So again, mainly would recommend 4-piece of the Pioneer set or 4-piece of the follow-up set. I'd mainly recommend the follow-up set, or you can combine them with the 2-piece of one of those and 2-piece of the fire set. And then if you really don't have any option, you can use 2-piece on Musketeers. The 4-piece on Musketeers is also an option, but the 6% damage increase isn't that great. The other ones you'll benefit a lot more from. Moving on to her planar ornaments, the best one you can do for damage is going to be Glamoth if you can get to 160 speed to get the full 18% more damage. And also the attack increase is nice. Just like between the follow-up set and the Pioneer set though, the difference between Glamoth and Inner Tulsado isn't that crazy as well. Inertial Slaughter is more consistent because you get a free 8% crit rate, and you also just have 50% or higher crit rate, dealing more damage with your ultimate, which her ultimate doesn't actually hit, so that doesn't matter. But her main source will become follow-up attacks, and since her attacks become considered follow-up attacks, the 50% follow-up attack increase is really nice. But again, 160 speed and Inertial Slaughter, the difference is very, very minuscule, so just use whichever you can get better, and if you can get 160 speed on Glamour, it does become better. But again, by very little. And then another option, everyone's favorite, Space Ceiling Station, is another thing because you just need 120 speed or higher to get a total of 24% attack, which is really, really good. 12% for free, and then when you hit 120 or higher, you get an additional 12%, so 24% attack is really nice. Now for the main sets on the relics. For the body, you want to have crit rate or crit damage corresponding to which one you need more. For the feet, I would recommend speed, but you can do attack percent. Topaz has a very, very high base speed of 110, so it is possible to get to breakpoint speed without having speed boosts if you just have good rolls. And if you can get to 134, which is the breakpoint speed I'd recommend, you can swap it to attack percent because with the attack percent boots, you'll deal a lot more damage, but you want to make sure you at least have breakpoint on your Topaz. For the orb, you can do attack percent or fire damage. Honestly, the difference isn't that big. Whichever one you just have a better orb for. If you have better rolls on your fire orb, you can use that. If you have better orbs in your attack percent roll, you can use that. The difference isn't that crazy. The difference sort of comes to depending on the team and the supports you're using, but even then the difference isn't that crazy. And then for the rope, you just want to rock attack percent because it's the best for her. But the substats, you mainly just want to, again, have speed if you're running attack percent beat, just so you can get to the breakpoint. But if you're already running boots that have beat on them for the main stat, you already will have breakpoint speed, so you don't have to worry about that. And so past that, you just want to have crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, your general DPS rolls, because she is a DPS, so that's sort of what you want to do for her stuff. So again, the body, crit rate, crit damage. For the feet, speed, because if you do speed, you don't have to worry about any speed rolls. And then if you do have the substats to be able to get to 134 speed without feet being main stat speed, you can swap that to attack percent for a nice damage increase. For the orb, attack percent or fire damage, the difference isn't that crazy. And then for the rope, you always want to have attack percent. Substats, speed if you don't have breakpoint, otherwise just crit rate, crit damage, attack percent because she is just a DPS. And so yeah, that is the full Topaz and Nami guide. Again, she will be releasing during the first half of 2.2 alongside Robin. Let me know if you guys are going to be summoning for her, because me personally, I am going to have to get her, get her Lightcone, and get her dupe, because I am absolutely crazy when it comes to follow-up attack teams. So the update, right away, I'm going to have to get Robin, her Lightcone, then I have to get Topaz E1 and her Lightcone, and I am not looking forward to it because I have barely any summons to my name, but I have like 70 pity, so there's that. Probably going to lose a lot of money, but I'm going to hope I get lucky because you guys know I just E6 S5 to Aventurine. I don't want to spend that much more money. So I've been dying for a Topaz rerun ever since I found out that I just really like follow-up attack teams, so I really regretted skipping her original run because I was able to hit pity at the time, I just chose not to. But I'm gonna fix that mistake when she is back. So yeah, let me know if you guys be summoning. Again, I will, so pray for me. And yeah, peace out.